What's up, Faith Family? Jarvis Guy of Jarvis YT here, and today we're going to be talking about X2, X-Men United, the second installment in the X-Men film series. Now, I'm going to be doing a tier list of all the movies later on, so I'm going back and rewatching all the movies, and I'm doing these reviews. And honestly, I gotta say, X2 is a good movie, but I really can't see why people puff it up as much as they do. They say it's the best X-Men movie. They say it's one of the best Marvel movies ever made. In my opinion, at least, that isn't really the case. I think X2's biggest problem is that there are a whole bunch of storylines that are just competing for screen time, and it really doesn't work. I mean, the movie starts out pretty simple in the first 15 minutes, but then it just goes completely off the rails. You have the plot line of Stryker controlling the mutants, Stryker kidnapping Professor Xavier getting manipulated by William Stryker's son. You have one section of the X-Men, Wolverine, Iceman, Rogue, and all them going to Iceman's family's house. They kill a whole bunch of cops. Storm and Jean Grey go off on their own little side adventure where they find Nightcrawler. Eventually, Wolverine and Storm and Jean Grey and their crew, they all team up to go find Professor Xavier. It's just a mess, okay? It's really hard to keep track of anything. And the movie does this weird thing where like they will devote like 5 minutes to one plot line and then just leave it alone for like 15 to 30 minutes and just return to it later, which is really bizarre to me. I think this movie might have gone through a few production troubles because a lot of the pacing in this movie is really fucked up. I'm really not the biggest fan of the ending because it's like, what the hell is that supposed to be? That little thing in the water? Nah, bruh. I'm definitely not a fan of the ending. I like the end voiceover narration, but I don't like how it just ends on a fucking body of water. That's so stupid to me. Yeah, but other than the fact that the movie has a pretty weak story, I do think that there's some really cool moments in the movie. There are definitely some cool moments, and I do say that it barely earns its 2 hour and 13-minute runtime. It is surprisingly long, and I think they could have cut off at least 30 minutes of the movie, especially the whole plot line at the end about Magneto, telling William Stryker's son to kill all humans instead of kill all mutants. I mean, that's definitely on brand for Magneto, but it's just kind of like, why did you feel the need to make the movie longer than it already was? Like, do you think that we're not already tired enough of like the endless amount of subplots that you just keep coming up with and then abandoning, then merging into other? That's like, what the hell are you doing? This isn't a fucking art film. This is a superhero film. Just like keep things simple. Have one through line, But yeah, man, when I do the tier list, X2 is probably going to be either an A or B tier. It's definitely not one that I'd go back and revisit, but it's definitely watchable, and it has some pretty cool moments. I will admit it has some pretty cool moments. In my opinion, it's not on the same level as X-Men. The first one is definitely not on that level, but it's still a respectable movie in its own right. So yeah, man, either way, those are my thoughts on X2, X-Men United. The title of that movie has always been very strange to me because it's like, couldn't you have just called it X-Men 2? Like, why are you calling it X2? Is it like, did people only know the first X-Men movie is like X, and so you're just capitalizing on a letter? I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. Either way, man, I've been your host, Jarvis God, and stay tuned for more diecast content. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you guys in the next one.